Well, folks, it looks like we have a key piece of evidence, a major breakthrough in the case regarding the insurrection, January 6th, the storming of the Bastille, as I call it. And I'm starting to think that the people who run the FBI, they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of buffoons. Because have you seen this? So it's been breaking over the past 24 hours that the FBI released a key piece of evidence. This is solid, man. It's in the bag. This proves that January 6th was planned. Trump planned it. That you, as an American citizen, you who love this country, you are nothing but domestic terrorist. You're insurrectionist. You know what the piece of evidence was? A Lego replica of the U.S. Capitol building. And there's a photo circulating with FBI agents holding up the box of this replica of the U.S. Capitol, or this Lego replica of the U.S. Capitol building. But surprisingly, in that photo, you don't see the replica of the U.S. Capitol building outside of that box. Huh, isn't that interesting? You thought we didn't catch that, FBI, did you? Like I said, a bunch of clowns and buffoons. Now, I'm not talking about those of you who are out in the field doing the dirty work, who are looking for some guy who committed 20 violent crimes in 10 states. I'm talking about people like Christopher Wray. A guy so stupid he wouldn't know a piece of evidence if it smacked him in the ass. The only reason he got his job is because he knows people in D.C. Come on, let's be honest. These people are so incompetent, it's not even funny. But it's been breaking the past 24 hours that the FBI found this quote-unquote key piece of evidence. And this is all thanks to a Mr. Robert Morse. And I got several sources here. I'm just giving it to you as it comes. So according to meaww.com, this is what set the stage for this, and this was published yesterday, June 6th, Robert Morse, I'm not giving out the name of anybody that the FBI has already released, it's not already out there, but Robert Morse was arrested by the FBI, or picked up by the FBI within the past month. When they entered his home, they found 3 firearms. FBI, were those firearms legally registered? Did Mr. Morse have a criminal background? They also found fatigues and a notebook with instructions on how to form a quote-unquote hometown militia. It's believed that he was on video, or seen on video during January 6th, leading the charge for people to storm the U.S. Capitol. He was wearing fatigues and a MAGA hat. Oh my God, he was wearing fatigues and a MAGA hat. But there's a lot of people that wear fatigues and a MAGA hat. Doesn't mean they're a terrorist. And there's a lot of people that have information on how to form a hometown militia because they live in an area where they don't have a lot of defense. They have to defend themselves. Now, I'm willing to give the FBI benefit of the doubt here. This guy could be a lone wolf. He could be nuts. I'll give you that. We'll lead way. But what I think is I think that Robert Morse is a patsy. That's my humble opinion. I'll tell you why. Because I have a couple questions for the FBI. This notebook that you found, you're saying that it had instructions on how to form a quote-unquote hometown militia. But were there any instructions in this notebook, FBI, that specifically laid out how to attack the U.S. Capitol building? Were there any instructions or formulas in this notebook on how to make a bomb? Was there anything in this notebook that said, die, Senator, die? Did Mr. Morse happen to have some type of black book in his possession with names and phone numbers? Did he watch violent movies? Did he own violent video games? I mean, there's so many questions I could ask here. But I really think that Mr. Morse is a patsy. Now, if he's guilty of something, okay, I'll give you that. If that is the case, then I stand corrected. But you can also go to the New York Post and look at this story, the Hill Observer. Like I said, breaking in the past 24 hours. But this is the key piece of evidence. A Lego replica of the U.S. Capitol building. Now, the reason why I'm not buying this is because back on January 9th, this is according to Today.com. According to Today.com, January 9th, Enrique Tarrio, remember him? Enrique Tarrio, leader of the Proud Boys. On January 8th, 2 days after the riot, the quote-unquote insurrection, storming the Bastille, he had posted a photo that went viral. And guess what this photo was? It was a mock image of a Lego replica of the U.S. Capitol building. And on the box, there were pieces of Lego with pictures of people attending the riot, the insurrection. Sounds to me like the FBI took a page out of Mr. Tarrio's playbook, if you ask me. Now, according to WUSA 9, CBS, you had a father and son who were arrested. There were several people like this, father, son, or mother, son, mother, daughter, who were arrested during the riots. And one of them was, this pair here, Daryl and Daniel Johnson. Daryl lived in Iowa, Daniel in Minnesota, and they were indicted on several charges, or arrested on several charges. And they told authorities that they witnessed, get this, they witnessed Antifa and BLM members attacking the U.S. Capitol building. And we know, and I talked about this before, we know that there were posters that Antifa circulated instructing their members to dress up as Trump supporters and infiltrate the crowd, Mr. Ray. And I bring up Mr. Ray's name, Christopher Ray, because according to U.S. News and World Report, this came out March 2nd, he claims that there was no apparent, I love this, no apparent Antifa involvement in January 6th. Or white supremacists and far-right extremists were the groups that they claim were most responsible for this. So it'd be the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. And he said this, quote, this was during a hearing where he was being questioned by Delaware Democrat Senator, no less, Senator Chris Coons. Yes, good old Senator Chris Coons. And he said this, we have not seen to date, I love this, we have not seen to date any evidence of anarchist violence, extremists, or people who subscribe to Antifa in conducting what happened January 6th. Or in connection to January 6th. Well, let me take a look at this quote again. We have not seen to date any evidence of anarchist, violent, extremist, or people who subscribe to Antifa in connection to January 6th. We're involved with it. Well, wait a minute. Antifa stands for anti-fascist, not anarchist. Like I said, Mr. Ray wouldn't know a piece of evidence if it smacked him in the ass. According to other reports, this is according to the New York Post, you had 140 that were injured during the January 6th attack, or the riot, certainly the steal. And 500 so far have been charged in the incident. And the FBI is still investigating hundreds of other suspects. 6 months later, and you have not gotten to the bottom of this, FBI, I wonder why. I'll tell you what I think. I think this was a setup from the get-go, and everybody knows it. This is all to get Trump. These people who went to the Capitol on January 6th who supported Trump, let's say they didn't support Trump, but they loved this country and they wanted to be there to be part of the moment. They're not terrorists. And I brought this up before in a previous video on my channel, Voice of the Composer, talked about pattern theory. Here's the deal with pattern theory. I'll give you a simple explanation. I mean, because it would take hours to talk about pattern theory. If I don't give you the scientific explanation, I will. But with pattern theory, the idea is this. You have a set of variables. And when you, for example, have 2 plus 2 plus 2, that gives you what? It gives you 6, right? So if you keep adding 2, you're going to get 8. Add 2 to that, you're going to get 10. Well, patterns go to emerge where you are skipping 2 numbers, right? You're going from 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. Now, if any one of those variables is changed, that is going to change the outcome of that pattern, alter the pattern. And we have never known Trump supporters to burn down cities, loot, riot, or to storm buildings. So why all of a sudden would they do it on January 6th, FBI? Did you ever stop asking to ask yourself the question? Of course you did. Of course you didn't ask yourself. Don't want to ask yourself that question, because to ask yourself that question means, just like the question of who shot Ashley Babbitt, means that you would have to admit that this was a setup. And you don't want to do that because it would prove you wrong. Because you're incompetent at the FBI and you don't want anybody showing that you're incompetent. I thought I'd share this with you today because we need to get to the bottom of what happened January 6th. I said this before. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's find out what happened. So like I said, this key piece of evidence, and this is so outrageous to me, that you're going to base what happened January 6th. Your key piece of evidence is a Lego replica of the U.S. Capitol building, which I could go into any toy store and buy, or any puzzle store here in the country, game store. I could buy that anywhere I wanted. That doesn't make me a terrorist, does it? We still don't know who shot Ashley Babbitt. Well, we do, but his name hasn't been released. Although I mentioned this in my previous video, I believe it was, that the family is suing the D.C. police or the city of D.C. in the process of filing a lawsuit to find out who the identity of this officer is. Could be that, and this is rumored, that it might have been somebody on Mike Pence's staff. That's not official, folks. That's just something that's out there. It's not coming from me. But I want to extend this olive branch to the FBI before I end this video. FBI, if you are so hot damn sure that Trump supporters were responsible for what happened January 6th, here's what I want you to do. I want you to come to my channel here on YouTube. Like I said, I'm extending my olive branch. And I want you to leave in the comments below what you know about Mr. Morris. I want you to leave what you know about the people that you arrested. I want you to give names of people that you arrested. I want you to let us know in the comment section below. Because I want to do my duty, my civic duty, and help you out to get to the bottom of this. Because if this is a threat to our society, if there is all this white rage out there, I want you to show me where it's at. And I want you to tell me specifically what groups these people like Robert Morse belong to. Was he a lone wolf? Do you know that Enrique Tarrio is not white, that he's Cuban-American? Did you know that? So how can somebody who's Cuban-American be a white supremacist? Do you know about Jonathan Earl Sullivan, who said on video, as I mentioned before, let's burn this blank down, and he admits to being a BLM supporter? So please, FBI, by all means, come to this channel in the comment section below. Give the names of the people that you have been investigating. Give us all the evidence. Tell us what you know so we can work together and we can solve this to make sure it never happens again. But remember, you work for us, the American people. My taxes pay your salary. And Mr. Ray, you better start knowing what a piece of evidence is before he hits you in the ass again. Because it's your job to know. As of to date, or up to date, to the current date, we don't know. Or we have no evidence showing BLM Antifa were there. But BLM Antifa were what? Burning down cities like Chicago, Seattle, Portland, Atlanta. What makes you think they wouldn't do that on January 6th and try to infiltrate the crowd at a Trump rally? What makes you think they wouldn't do that? Are you that stupid? Are you that naive, Mr. Ray? So if you enjoyed the video, please click that like button, subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes. Leave comments below. And now you can reach me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. Thank you for being with me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you next time. This is the Cultural Confederacy saying, stay safe, everybody. God bless this great country, and I'll catch you next time.